I wanted to take a minute and give you a visual demonstration of segment addition versus segment subtraction and help you try to understand the steps. This video tutorial works in conjunction with this document, which can be found farther on down on my webpage underneath the links or the attached files. So if you want to, you can pause the video, print this document out, and have it in front of you to follow along. Let's talk about segment addition first. As you can see, I've got three segments here, and what I want to do is I want to use them as a visual representation of this picture right here, where I have a large segment AD broken up into three smaller segments. In my given, I'm told that AB is congruent to CD, and I've modeled that with these two segments right here. They're both 6 units long, so we can say that they're congruent. It's nice that they're separate colors so that you can actually keep them distinguished from each other. And then I've got BC in the middle, and I've mixed the blue and the red to represent the BC part, which is in the middle. So the way segment addition actually works is in step number 1, I state my given, and that's that these two pieces are congruent. So now I have these two segments congruent. In my second step, I use the reflexive property to say that this piece is congruent to itself. So now I have two pieces congruent and then a piece congruent to itself. The third step, which is what a lot of students usually get confused about, it says AB plus BC equals CD plus BC, and that's from the addition property of equality. What I actually did there was I took step 1, which said that these two items were the same, congruent, and I said if I've got two things that are the same, then I should be able to add the same thing to both sides and the result should be the same. In other words, the addition property of equality actually says if A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. It says if you have two things that are equal, you should be able to add the same thing to both sides and the result should still be equal. So that's what's going on here in step number 3. I'm just saying that if I were to take this and add this to it, or I were to take this and add this to it, that the result should be the same. So that's what happens in step number 3. In step number 4, I'm actually doing the segment addition postulate, which says that if I take AB, this, and I add BC to it, the result is AC. And if I take CD and add to it BC, the result is BD. So that's what's going on with the segment addition postulate. That's what when you're actually saying, if I take these two pieces and I add them together, this is the name of the resulting piece. That's what happens in step number 4. And in step number 5, what I'm really doing is I'm saying, well, since I know that this, if I take these two pieces and add them together, and I take these two pieces and add them together, since I know that that's the same thing, then I'm just going to say that this is congruent to this. And that's actually a substitution. What I actually did was I substituted AC in for this guy, AB plus BC, and I took BD and I substituted in here for CD plus BC. So that's actually a substitution. And the result is what you want, that segment AC is congruent to segment BD. Now, segment subtraction works much the same way, except we're going to start from the big pieces and subtract out the middle piece. So just like in segment addition, I state my given, which in this case, the given is that the big segment is congruent to the other big segment. So this would represent AC, and this would represent BD. And in the middle, I have again BC. So what I want to do is, instead of adding pieces together, I'm going to subtract. Similar to segment addition, the subtraction property of equality says if A equals B, then A minus C should equal B minus C. So what that's saying is that if I'm saying that this piece BD is congruent to this piece, AC, then if I subtract the same thing from both sides, mainly BC, then my results should be equal. So that's what happens in step number 3. In step number 4, I'm saying that if I take segment AC and I subtract from it BC, then what I'm left with is AB. And it's saying that if I start with BD and I subtract off BC, what I'm left with is CD. So that's the segment subtraction step. And in the last step, just like segment addition, I actually do a substitution. I take this piece and I substitute it in for that, and I take this piece and I substitute it in for that. And so that's how segment addition and segment subtraction work. You do need to know both ways, segment addition and segment subtraction. And I should also mention that if you're dealing with angles instead of segments, this process is exactly the same, except instead of using segment notation, you would use angle notation. And instead of saying segment subtraction or segment addition, you would say angle subtraction or angle addition.